Hi guys, I am Mrs. Bryant. Most of you all know that. Mrs. Stanley and I thought it would be a good idea to give you a quick tour of some of the changes that we made over the summer as far as the locker changes and where your new classrooms are going to be. We moved everybody around, and so this will just make it a little bit easier for you to navigate where it is that you're supposed to go on the first day of school. So first thing I want to point out for you upperclassmen is these are no longer the senior lockers. Okay, so the first set of lockers here will be 8th grade lockers, and the second set of lockers will be the 7th grade lockers. The junior and senior lockers are now downstairs, and we will get to their location in just a minute. All right, so here we are right outside the Hall of Champions and the high school gym. So you upperclassmen that are not eating breakfast will come directly in the main doors, and you'll come down here and go to your lockers. I'm about ready to show you where those are, and then you'll go straight into the high school gym, or as you've heard it called for years, the new gym. Okay, so this is the high school gym, and then right outside the high school gym, Hall of Champions, is Mrs. Clark's temporary strings room. Okay, she was here last year, so she has not moved yet. Her new location is in the new science wing, which is not finished. So she will be here until the science wing and the auditorium is completed. Okay, so once she moves, this will be the health room for Mr. George, who is joining us from the elementary school, and Mr. Shedder. Okay, so they'll have their health classes in here. Right now, they will be in temporary locations, and you can just meet them in the gym and they'll show you where it is that you're supposed to go. Okay? So here are the new senior lockers. Used to be 7th grade lockers, now they're senior lockers. The first classroom that we're going to come to here is Mrs. Standiford, our new 10th grade English teacher. Okay, so she will be in this first door here on the left. Right on down from her is Mr. Moore's new classroom location, okay, 124. He is going to be teaching 9th grade history this year, and his classroom is going to be the first door here on the right. Mrs. Stewart's room here on the left, her classroom location did not change. She's our bacon and pastry teacher, and she will be right here, you know, where the kitchens are. So we're in the senior lockers through here. Our next classroom here on the left is Mr. Shriver, our new science teacher. Okay, so if you have chemistry, physics, forensics, or physical science, you will meet Mr. Shriver right here in room 127. Next on the right in Mrs. Lee's old room is Mrs. Oblisk, our 11th grade English teacher. She has some college English and college speech as well, and they will all be right here in room 126. On down on the left, we have a new teacher, Mrs. Miller, new special ed teacher to our school. Her classroom will be right here in room 129. And then directly across from her is Mrs. King's new classroom location. Used to be Mrs. Stanley's room, and now it is Mrs. King. 12th grade English, college English, and yearbook will be right here in Mrs. King's room. On down through here, we are now in the junior locker area. Okay, used to be 8th grade lockers, now they're junior lockers. And here on the left, Mrs. Nice Warner did not move, so her classroom will stay the same. She's got a nice little pretty wreath there for you. On the right is Mrs. Weigel. Her classroom also did not move. She got to stay in her old room as well. So 10th grade biology and human anatomy will be right here with Mrs. Weigel. Straight ahead, Mr. Lathy's room is still Mr. Lathy's room. So upper level math classes and the college math will be here with Mr. Lathy. And then on the left is Mrs. Lee's new room. Okay, so 11th and 12th grade math is going to be with Mrs. Lee. And then on down around the corner here, still the 9th grade lockers. So we're out of order now. 9th grade lockers have always been in this hallway, and they will remain in this hallway. On the right, Mr. Banzinger's room did not change, stayed the same. So you'll still go here to meet Mr. Banzinger. So 9th grade Algebra 1 and some geometry classes will be here with Mr. Banzinger. Right after Mr. Banzinger is Mr. Mullinex's new room.
And where are the sophomore lockers?
Okay, so the sophomore locker location did not change, so they are right around the corner where they've always been. All right, so here we are outside of the guidance department, and that has not moved, same location, just to give you a general idea of where we are. These are also the new 8th grade lockers. Okay, so we're in the main hallway, trophy case back that way, cafeteria this way. Okay, so guidance office has not moved. Here on the left is Mrs. Shawver's new room. Okay, so she teaches health to 6th through 10th graders. So she'll be in this classroom when you have her for health. If you have her for gym, you'll be in the gyms. And just as a note, Gym A is the high school gym and Gym B is the middle school gym on your schedule. So that's where you'll report on day 1. This main computer lab 220, which has 2 entrances, will be Mrs. Martin's 8th grade science temporary location. Okay, so she will be here until the new science wing is done. Mrs. Martin taught Computer 7 last year for you 8th graders in this same exact room. So you'll come to this room for your science class. Next we have Mrs. Hendrickson here on the left in room 217. She teaches all of our Spanish classes. Okay, so Mrs. Hendrickson's Spanish classes are directly across from the main floor computer labs. Next on the left in Mrs. Nestor's old room is Mrs. Faber, our French teacher. Okay, so if you have French in the 7th grade all the way through 12th grade, you would come here for French class. And then right across from Mrs. Faber in our other main floor computer lab is Mrs. Stanley, our 7th grade science teacher. Okay, Mrs. Stanley also teaches Robotics 8 for you 8th graders. It'll be in the same room as well. All right, so right next to Mrs. Stanley is going to be Mr. Kesterson. Mr. Kesterson is the 8th grade social studies teacher, and he is also going to teach U.S. combat studies to you high school students that signed up for that. So this used to be Mrs. King's room. It is now Mr. Kesterson. Okay, we're in the 7th grade lockers area now. It used to be juniors. Don't forget juniors, you will be downstairs. These are the 7th grade lockers. I want to point out real quick, Mr. Chaddick has been relegated to the shop area until the science wing is done. So last year you would have reported to his classroom area. If you have any classes with Mr. Chaddick this year, you will come directly into the shop door. Okay, currently the 6th grade science teacher is utilizing his classroom. So you'll walk in there and scare a bunch of small people. So if you have Mr. Chaddick, you'll come right in the shop, okay? So 6th grade science is gonna be in the tech ed room until their new science wing is finished. All right, so now we're outside of the art rooms and those did not move either. So straight ahead is Mr. Spindler and the back right door is Mrs. Elliott and she is still in the same location. And then right next to her is Mrs. Wagner. So she's moved on upstairs now. All right, so here we are right outside the cafeteria. These are now 7th grade lockers, okay? So 7th grade lockers. Make sure that you guys are reading Mr. Ward's instruction for lunch, okay? Because not everybody will report to the cafeteria to get their lunch. All right, some of you all will be picking up your lunch in the gyms. So you're gonna read Mr. Ward's note that he put out about arriving to school and what you're supposed to do then and where you go to pick up your lunch. All of the lunches will be boxed. You just pick it up and go. However, not everybody's gonna pick up their lunch in the cafeteria. So make sure that you are reading Mr. Ward's memo that he put out. All right, so here we are outside of the library area. We don't necessarily need to go in there. I just want to point out really quickly, high school students have no classes in the library area unless you have Mr. Rusher. Okay, so if you have Mr. Rusher for personal finance or entrepreneurship, his classes are still going to be in the library. None of the outer classrooms will be occupied by teachers that teach anything to high school students. Just real quick for the 8th graders, your math class and English classes will be in this library area. Okay, so Mrs. Brown is in there, as well as the new English teacher. Do you remember her name, Mrs. Stanley? We'll get back to you on that. She's coming to us from North Carolina, so Mrs. Ward will be filling in for her for a couple of weeks, and then she will be here ready to go. So no high school students will go in the library area unless you are having a class to Mr. Rusher, okay? And I know some people had asked, the choir classes for 6th all the way through 12th grade are either gonna happen in the side of the library or the cafeteria or the band room, okay? Mrs. Hunt is really great, and she will get with you that first day and make sure everybody is in the right spot, okay? So you'll just wanna come down here to the library or the cafeteria, and she will direct you to where it is that you're supposed to go for all choir classes. She will have a brand new room out in the library wing, or the science wing, as soon as that is finished. But currently she's kind of floating just wherever we have room for her.